I just had an interesting question because I feel that the fastest, best way of making a massive shift on this planet is going to be the use of water. Water carries information, and water is what your body happens to be mostly made out of. And water is in the air, water is everywhere, and it's carrying information. Now, the best water that gets you healthier is called live water. It's living water. And there is some places on the planet that do have living water. But what we need to do is make all water living water. And it's technology that kind of destroyed the living water. So what I've noticed is that what got us into this mess is the very thing that's going to pull us out of this mess. So we're going to have to be using some technology to stimulate our water to be more alive. But we've got to look at this reality that life changes. It's all about change. If you're doing the same thing over and over and over again, it will destroy you. What causes arthritis, bone arthritis or muscle arthritis, which is known as fibromyalgia, is change. When you have the same thoughts over and over and over again, you wear out the receptors in your brain. And those receptors, it's like your receptor is well, it's more like a claw, okay? And when you keep giving information out of that, you wear the claws down to the point where, you know, they don't exist. So, and that process, if you look into the medical world, it when you wear out your receptors, then it does create arthritis. It does create problems in your muscles. You can just see it with fibromyalgia. Most people that are dealing with fibromyalgia are living in fear all the time. When you're in fear, your muscles are tight all the time, and when your muscles are so tight and so tense for so many years, eventually you will develop arthritis. The same thing is going on with your bones. So the idea of living a really, really healthy life, especially if your lifespan is going to be longer, you need to adapt. You need to constantly change. Like for me, my life purpose right now is to spread a lot of information to get this water concept going. But once this water concept going, and once there's a big shift, there's not going to be a need for me to have all of this information. What am I going to do with the rest of my life? Well, I'm old enough to know that it seems to be like every 7 years my life takes a shift. So you don't know where your life path is going to go. You just got to trust something else will come up. Something else will be my passion. Your life passion is always developing and always changing, and you have to be at one with that. You kind of look excited for that instead of thinking, oh my God, what am I going to do next? I lived in that insanity. I was right into programming, and to the point where all I could see in my future was programming. And if the computer died on me and I had no money, then it was like, oh my God, what am I going to do for a living? And so my passion to work really hard and my passion to constantly create and attract what it is I needed, I always had a computer in front of me. But then I noticed that my health was starting to go. My hands, I couldn't even type. My health eventually told me this ain't a good path for you. So then it's like, what else am I supposed to do? So my shift and focus on my life had to be, computer programming, shift to why don't you spread the information that you have? So, that's what we have to sort of wake up to is I am using the philosophy because I happen to really love it that go with the flow. Bruce Lee said you're strongest when you go with the energy instead of fighting the energy. So a lot of things that we are definitely against is something that if we use it, we can make a shift. But you have to recognize that it has to be obsolete. So whatever technology that's used to clean our waters, to make it more living water, has to eventually be obsolete. We have to have a focus on how can we sustain living water naturally. um, I have seen some documentaries where um, an area, a global or a geographical area, was not getting any rainfall. They were basically a desert environment, and what they needed to do was slowly um, introduce different plants, a different environment, which eventually, like the rainforest, if you plant certain trees, you change the environment in that area, eventually, like the rainforest will create uh, you know a, a lot of rain to come down because it's a rainforest. But if you chop all those trees down at the rainforest, then the weather patterns change. So we have to sort of look at how we end up creating change, and the change that we need to create is going to be using some form of technology. But you got to understand, technology destroyed our planet. So we have to use technology to clean it up, but eventually make technology obsolete. Um, was a great big thing to have a lot of technology, but technology happens to be the thing that's killing us. It's the thing that's preventing us from having opportunity. It's preventing you from living your purpose. So, and it's going to be a long process, but it will eventually happen if you can accept the idea that you need to adapt. As things change, you have to trust in yourself that you're going to have another purpose. You're going to have another reason for living other than your tunnel vision. This is the only thing I should be doing right now. I mean, let's face it, if we found out the answer to everything, then we'd be changing our life purpose of wanting to find the answers to everything. You're going to have to do something different after that. Um, Getting back to this water concept, kind of look at, why do we have this insane addiction to bottled water? Like, it's quite insane. It really pollutes our planet. But if you use the same concept of using everything that's bad for us and use it to get us out, bottled water is the very thing that can reprogram your own freaking brain. It will put those, I mean, we're kind of looking at branding, and these logos and all of these elites have all of these messages in our universe that are subliminally, guiding you down a path to buy something you don't really need. Well, you can put subliminal messages for a better direction, which can be put on every friggin' bottle that you drink. You don't even have to get everybody else to drink it. As long as you're drinking from it, you're influencing the environment around you because you're putting a subliminal message out into the universe using a friggin' bottled water. Is bottled water bad for you? Yeah. Who are going to be the ones that are going to be against it? All of those people that are against pollution, against plastic. But there are ways of cleaning up um, the pollution and our need for plastic, but we have to change our mindset first. And once our mindset is changed and shifted, then you get rid of the pollution. Then you get rid of the need for plastic. Because it's got to be obsolete eventually. That once you start getting this, then you don't need bottled water because you're going to be on a different path. So every single idea must be designed to be obsolete. As long as you need to survive off a problem that you need to fix, you have no motivation to fix a problem because that's the way you're earning your living. That's why world peace isn't really being unfolded, because a lot of people are getting paid to create a world peace. If they actually created world peace, they'd all be unemployed. So there's no motivation for them to actually create it, and it's all happening on a subconscious level. So that's one of the things that we need to sort of wake up to is what we need to clean this planet. It may be technology, but that technology must be obsolete. We have to sort of get back to nature. Get back to the planet. The planet is the technology. Everything, all of technology is nothing but the bigness of what the planet can offer you. But you don't know how to use your planet properly. You're trying to imitate the planet, and it's the imitation of the planet that's killing the planet. So, but if we get back to nature, we get back to living a more peaceful, loving life and at one and at tune, and using the best the universe can offer us, you'll see there's an awful lot more there than what you think there is. Um, the internet, for example, is got to be obsolete eventually because we still have an information highway that's more specific, gets you better information, gets you more truth. If you start using this information field that's out there, happens to be held within water, but once we start adapting to that, then you will evolve as a human being. You are being suppressed. So our evolvement is starting to use more of our brains that we aren't using. There's a reason that most of your brain is not being used. It's being suppressed. There's a lot of shit out there that you don't know. You don't even know your own capabilities yet, but it's coming. Just sort of be at one with change. If you're kind of look at some of the things that you're against, kind of look at how you can make the things you're against obsolete, but maybe use some of the things you're against for good. I mean, these logo and subliminal messages are really, really bad. It's programming you into shit that you don't want. But that same philosophy can be used to change you around. It's a matter of what is it you do want, not a matter of what you don't want. It's changing, using the same things to change you around into what you do want. So there's a little bit, we need to get some live water. Living water is the type of water that would be within this bottled water concept. It does have the ability to connect you with an information field. It does have the ability to make you aware of what you think about that is causing the behaviors that get you sick, that gets you aging, that gets you into an accident. So it is kind of interesting. Hope that's a little bit more informative. Peace out.